when they gonna legalize me. Tell me when they gonna legalize me. Pull your pants up or put your hands up. Tell me when you're gonna legalize me. Whoa, we might have to take it to a, whoa, we might take it to a whole nother level. We might take it to a whole nother level. We might take it to a whole nother level. We might take it to a whole nother level. We might take it to a whole nother level. Tell me when they gonna legalize me. Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Fully Baked Radio. I'm your host, Flip Marley, and I'm joined by the lovely Vanessa Maria.
Hey, what's up? On today's show, we're going to talk about Michigan. We're going to have some people calling in from Michigan to give us a down low on what's going on with their medical marijuana program and also telling us what police have been doing to disrupt access to medical cannabis patients in that state. First up, we're going to talk to Mitzi Ruddock. She's with the Sons of Hemp, an advocacy group that's been working to change the laws in Michigan and in Detroit. And later on in the show, we're also going to talk with a dispensary owner who goes by Mr.C, who's been harassed by police as they attempt to shut down his dispensary multiple times in Detroit. Stay tuned for all that and more on this edition of Fully Baked Radio.
We might have to take it to a, whoa, we might take it to a whole nother level. We might take it to a whole nother level. We might take it to a whole nother level. We might take it to a whole nother level. We might take it to a whole nother level. Tell me when they gonna legalize me. Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
Welcome back to Fully Baked Radio on WPPM 106.5. I'm your host, Flip Marley.
Hey, what's up? It's Vanessa with your Fully Baked Recap. Everyone in New Jersey has been buzzing. About 2 weeks ago, Senator Nicholas Scutari from Union County formally unveiled a proposal that would legalize marijuana for individuals 21 and older in the Garden State. The proposal, if passed into law, would make New Jersey the 9th state in the U.S. to legalize marijuana. The bill would decriminalize marijuana for a year up until they got the program up and running. Retail outlets would be authorized to distribute cannabis to anyone 21 and older. And it would legalize the possession and use of marijuana and establish a system of licensed and regulated cannabis retail outlets. The bill does not allow for home cultivation, and so there have been many critics, including Phil and I, who have been skeptical of the bill. As a result, a new group has formed called the Garden State Cannabis Consumers, which organized a town hall this week in the city of Camden, where advocates Chris Goldstein, Ricardo Rivera, Flip, and I were all there to talk about passing a resolution in Camden to decriminalize, and then also to have a discussion with the community about the shortcomings of the bill. Stay tuned for more information about the next gathering. We hope to go to Trenton, Atlantic City, and Linden, where Senator Scutari is, to discuss the bill further. In other news, Vermont successfully passed a legalization bill for cannabis in both the Senate and the House, and the bill then went to Governor Phil Scott for his signature. However, Senate Bill 22 was vetoed. The bill would have legalized the possession of up to an ounce of marijuana and the personal cultivation of up to 2 mature plants for immature plants for those 21 and older. He vetoed it, talking mostly about his concerns about driving under the influence of cannabis and also how they would limit access to children. While Governor Phil Scott vetoed that bill, another governor in South Carolina did sign a bill legalizing hemp in South Carolina. House Bill 3559 was signed into law. just 2 weeks ago by Governor McMaster after receiving overwhelming support in the state's legislature. The new law creates an industrial hemp program and clarifies definitions to distinguish industrial hemp from marijuana. All right, way to go, South Carolina. And then also good news in Delaware, where a House bill to legalize marijuana and also have retail outlets was approved in the House Revenue and Finance Committee. Now House Bill 110, also known as the Delaware Marijuana Control Act, will go to the full House of Representatives. That bill would allow adults 21 and older to possess up to 1 ounce of marijuana, including no more than 5 grams of marijuana in concentrate. It would direct the Division of Marijuana Control and Enforcement to enforce the regulations on marijuana cultivators, product manufacturers, testing laboratories, and retail establishments. The bill, however, will not allow for home cultivation. And finally, President Trump signed a bill protecting state marijuana laws. The omnibus spending bill was signed earlier this month by President Trump, and it includes a provision that prevents the Department of Justice, which includes the DEA, from arresting or prosecuting patients, caregivers, and businesses that are acting in compliance with state medical marijuana laws. The bill is effective through the end of September, meaning lawmakers will need to pass a new measure before the end of the year to keep the protections in place. All right, that's good news for all the medical marijuana dispensaries out there. Make sure you check out more information on Weedstock happening this weekend in Townsend, Delaware, a 3-day music festival event being put on by our friends at Delaware Normal. All right, that's going to do it for your Fully Baked recap.
Now we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. You're currently listening to Fully Baked Radio on WPPM 106.5 FM Philadelphia.
Wicked or weakness, you gotta see this. Yeah. Hey, I remember syrup sandwiches and crime allowances. Vanessa no with some counterfeits, but now I'm counting this. Parmesan where my accountant lives. In fact, I'm down in this. You say with my boo-babe tastes like Kool-Aid for the analyst. Girl, I can buy your Westie world with my base stuff. Ooh, that be good once you sit it on my taste buds. I get way too petty once you let me do the extras. Pull up on your block, then break it down, we playing Tetris. AM to the PM, PM to the AM phone. Piss out your per diem, you just gotta hate them phone. If I quit your BM, I still rock Mercedes phone. If I quit this season, I still be the greatest funk. My left stroke just went viral. Right stroke, put a baby in a spiral. Soprano C, we like to keep it on the high note. It's levels to it, you and I know. Be humble, sit down. 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 Who that thinking that he frontin' on that man? Get the off my stage, I'm the Sandman. Get the off mic, that ain't right. I make a play for your whole life. I'm so fucking sick and tired of the Photoshop. Show me something natural like Afro with your pride. Show me something natural like with some stretch marks. Still a take you down right on your mama couch in polo sock. Ayy, way too crazy, ayy. You do not amaze me, ayy. I blew cool from ACA. Obama just page me, ayy. I don't fabricate it, ayy. Most of y'all be faking, ayy. I stay modest about it, ayy. She elaborated, ayy. This that great poop on that AV on that TED Talk, ayy. Watch my soul speak, you let the meds talk, ayy. If I kill it, it won't be the alcohol, ayy. I'm the realest, cause after all, be humble, sit down. 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 Be humble, sit down.
Hello,
ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Fully Baked Radio on WPPM 106.5 FM Philadelphia. I am your host, Flip Marley, and right now I have the pleasure to be joined by Mitzi Ruddock, all the way from the Wolverine State of Michigan. Mitzi has been a cannabis advocate since 2008 as a grower and an activist. She serves on the board of directors of an advocacy group in Michigan called Sons of Hemp. And she's also a ganjapreneur with her cannabis business, Buds, Corks, and Forks, which services the local Detroit area. But please allow Mitzi to better explain what it is that she do. Hello, Mitzi. Welcome to the show.
Hello. What I do? So after I grew, I ended up starting to do events. So I do events called Buds, Corks, and Forks out here. And it's a upscale, mature atmosphere that I provide for people to consume marijuana, and also fundraise at the same time, support those who want the medicine and can't afford it, or someone who's sick and wants alternative methods of healing. And from there, it just kind of like blew up. People were looking for something like this because they didn't have anywhere to consume but like in their closet or in their basement. So that's how my love for the business evolved.
How does Buds, Corks, and Forks work with Michigan's current medical marijuana laws? Do they conflict? How do you operate?
Well, right now I operate under the private social club laws here. My events are... So, after I grew, I ended up starting to do events. So I do events called Buds, Corks, and Forks out here. And it's a upscale, mature atmosphere that I provide for people to consume marijuana, and also fundraise at the same time, support those who want the medicine and can't afford it, or someone who's sick and wants alternative methods of healing. And from there, it just kind of like blew up. People were looking for something like this because they didn't have anywhere to consume but like in their closet or in their basement. So that's how my love for the business evolved.
How does Buds, Corks, and Forks work with Michigan's current medical marijuana laws? Do they conflict, or how do you operate?
Well, right now I operate under the private social club laws here. My events are pop-ups, so you don't know where the location is until the day of, and you have to RSVP to get in, so and you have a dress code. All those things are in place in order to have a successful event that doesn't get raided.
Right. Now, like, do those happen often up in Michigan? Like recently, just in Philadelphia, I was just saying recently, just in Philadelphia, there was like a huge raid that happened on like a sesh and things like that. I'm pretty sure like that's always in the back of your mind, but like how often those happen in Michigan? Are you guys still like under the same archaic laws that we are?
That's a tough question. It's like there have been some raids, definitely, but it's more or less public nuisance or going over the time limit. You know, if you're open certain hours of the night, or if you're in a residential, those kind of things will set off the police.
Okay. Well, for our listeners, can you just give us an insight into like the laws in Michigan and like how they are looking right now with legalization happening across the country?
Okay, so we have the Michigan Marijuana Act that passed in 2008, and that's under the medicinal, where we have a caregiver-patient relationship here. But recently, in September, our governor signed the Michigan marijuana legislation in order to regulate it on a state level. But it gave the municipalities, like the cities, they can do whatever they want. They can choose to not have dispensaries, or they can choose to have one or two. You know, they can have their own laws. We are heading towards recreational. the language just came out for that, to regulate it like alcohol. I mean, it's just, all of it is just regulation right now. It's tough. It's tough for Black people.
Yeah, definitely.
Because none of this stuff really took in consideration how we've been living with the criminal aspect of it, you know, for all these years.
As I mentioned before, you're on the board of directors of the Sons of Hemp, and you guys actually have lawsuits to like combat the over-regulations and things like that. Can you explain to our listeners like what the details of the lawsuit and what you're trying to get across?
Yep. So, Sons of Hemp are a bunch of growers, and who came together, growers and advocates of marijuana, who came together, and this based on the city of Detroit. And it came about as representation, because there is no representation for African Americans that want to get in the industry or who are in the industry out here in Michigan. So what ended up happening, that kind of pushed our initiative faster, was that the city of Detroit City Council put an ordinance in place that was just ridiculous, and they didn't even come to find out how many Black owners would be affected by it. So what happened was the ordinance said, hey, if you want a dispensary, so dispensaries were popping up all over the place, and then churches started complaining, and then the city jumped in before the state jumped in, which the state just jumped in September, and the city ordinance just jumped in was implemented March of last year. So the city came in and said, hey, we don't want, so the city jumped in and said, hey, you can't have a dispensary 1,000 feet from a church, 1,000 feet from a liquor store, 1,000 feet from another dispensary, 1,000 feet from a school in the park. So in the city of Detroit, there's a church and there's a liquor store right on every other corner.
I have been in Detroit, but I'm pretty sure it's just like every other hood and inner community and all that.
Exactly. So that meant, well, if we had to abide by that ordinance, maybe 2 Black dispensaries would make it to be able to get a permit. So the Sons of Hemp said, hell no, we got to do something about it. So we end up submitting a lawsuit against the city of Detroit. And we're still in court right now fighting it on the federal level. But the federal is fighting us and saying that it's a state issue. So it's kind of going back and forth right now.
And have the state jumped in and said anything? Or, like, what are they saying about the whole issue?
The state hasn't jumped in. I mean, they already said what they were going to do, and that's what they did in September.
What?
So, you know, they're saying, hey, you got to have 5 licenses on the state level to be able to participate in the marijuana industry. Now, what does that look like? For Black people, it looks horrible, because you're not going to be able to get a license if you have a criminal record whatsoever. It doesn't matter what it is. You have to have bank records, tax records. You have to have certain things in line. Well, we disadvantaged out the gate. So, you know, that's another thing that Southern Hemp is fighting for, is language in the state law and on the city level. We have to, like California, Massachusetts, and Ohio just did. They made language for Black people to be able to participate.
Exactly.
In this billion-dollar industry.
Inclusion is definitely a thing right now that I think a lot of African Americans and people of color should just be aware of, you know, because especially in Detroit, out of a lot of cities, Detroit was once the motor capital of America, and everyone had jobs, factories everywhere. And now it's absolutely nothing. It's like a ghost town, making $0, and here goes an opportunity for majority of the people that live there to finally get a restoration to life, and is like, not too fast, you know. So definitely,
hold up.
Yeah, for real.
Yep.
So we definitely applaud like what you guys are doing in the Sons of Hemp.
Thank you. It's important. The word has to get out, and I'm just finding out. It's just crazy to me that these people who are making these decisions don't have any clue. They have zero clue of what's going on.
What about city council? Is city council okay? Like, are they arguing the fact of this impossible act of making dispensaries in Detroit with all these churches? Or are they actually like, let's talk about
they
it?
absolutely, the city is, they, only one city council member, well, let me say 1.5. City council members are for the marijuana industry. So out here, what we're trying to do is change the conversation, right? It's not about whether you like marijuana. It's not about, whether you get high and you get doped up or whatever, all these other dumb things that people think that people who smoke marijuana do. It's not about that. It's about the economics of it, because it can change Detroit's whole entire look if it's done right here. And the majority of black people who live here will benefit. We are the only ones who don't care about our neighborhoods. We have liquor stores out here owned by the Chaldeans, and they haven't put a cent back into our city.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
Yeah, and it's happening all across America. Well, before we go, Forks, and let our listeners know how they could find out more about it and possibly attend the next Buds, Corks, and Forks you may be having.
Oh, cool. You can get more information on Buds, Corks, and Forks at budscorksforks.com. We're on Facebook. We have a Facebook page, BCF, and we're on Instagram at Buds, Corks, Forks. We just did an awesome event this past weekend called Blazing Brunch. We had infused waffles, we had infused wine, we had live art, music. It was lit. It was so slapping. So we're looking to bring that back, and we're looking to bring Buds, Corks, and Forks is actually looking for a home right now, so we can have a steady place to be, because a lot of people are just looking for a cool spot to really just kick it and chill,
Mother's Day is right around the corner. You being an advocate of cannabis and a mother, I believe?
Yes, I am. Mother of 2.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Like, what are some of the things do you speak to your children about cannabis? I don't know if they're of age, or do you plan?
Yep, I do. Nope, I do. I have a 13-year-old. Right. It's challenging because, I have a 13-year-old and a soon-to-be 5-year-old. And so my 13-year-old is taking a health class. So what do you think they're teaching her in health class? They're teaching her all the wrong crap. The stereotypes. So, I just had a conversation with her and really let her know the truth about the plant, the healing aspects of it. Let her know how the truth about alcohol is truly addictive and hurt people. I show her statistics. I just try to educate her as much as possible, because I don't want her to learn the wrong thing out here.
It all starts in the home.
Yeah, right. It does.
Can you let our listeners know about Sons of Hemp and how to reach out to you and find, if our listeners in the Michigan area need to reach out to you, can you give them your contact information?
Yeah, absolutely. So Sons of Hemp is also on Facebook as Sons of Hemp or SOH. And you can contact me. You can contact me at budscorksforks@gmail.com, or I'm on Facebook as Mitzi Ruddock, or you can reach me at DCF on the page, on the Facebook page, or Instagram.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, now it's Mitzi Ruddock, and we will be back with more Fully Baked Radio. Stay tuned and stay baked.
Thank you.
The Eagles
sit and worry all his life away. Saying a lot of prayers to the devil, I say, darling, darling. So never go to then.
Don't worry
Easy your brain.
about a thing.
They hear what we're saying.
Every little thing is gonna be alright.
Listen to me again. Yo,
Singing, don't worry
easy your vibe.
about a thing. 'Cause every little thing is gonna be alright.
Keeping it live.
Woke up this morning, smile with the rising sun.
Yeah.
3 little birds pitched by my doorstep,
Yo, yo.
singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true. Singing, this is my message to you.
Hey yo, hey yo, hey yo. Bless up, don't stress up, and don't bother worry your brain. Listen the lyrics and what the message contain. Alpha and Omega, you know that ever go rain. So why bother complain? Yo, life is a road today if you choose the right lane. Some people focus them in the deep and bear pain. Never acknowledge all of the blessing them gain. That's why we keep on saying, yo, don't worry. We have to live life to it. We don't have it such a heavy load. So we're telling them again,
Don't worry about a thing.
easy your mind.
Every little thing is gonna be alright.
Listen what we tell them
Singing,
again.
don't worry
Yeah, yeah.
about a thing.
No pressure your brain.
'Cause every little thing is gonna be alright.
Okay, oh yeah, oh yeah. Positive living, the man, and so we do it thing. Jaja keep giving, so every day we have to sing. Live up with positive because we know we must win. Who are just testing with negative, I get the sting. They kick up around them till I bow to the king. Evil them cut up, that still is controlling. Like they never trust things, I love amazing. Fire ever blazing, yeah we keep moving. Can we live life to it? We know life is such a heavy load. But God bless me again. Don't worry. No pressure your
About a thing.
What do you want to say?
Every little thing is gonna be alright.
Listen to me again.
Singing, don't worry
Hear what we say.
about a thing.
About that thing now.
'Cause every little thing is gonna be alright.
Yo, hey, so the matter with vex about that screw, hey yo, down by the road. Every day that you live up, Jah still a bless you. Even though the clouds appear grey and times are cold, never be giving it up because the word is true. Every day the day is brighter. Don't bother fight. Every man for reach the heights and come to know them on the right. I respect one another underneath Jah's side. Never lose sight of the light.
Don't worry
Don't worry, yo.
about a thing.
You know what I'm saying?
Every little thing is gonna be alright. We're singing, don't worry about a thing. 'Cause every little thing is gonna be alright.
Stevie Marley, Ziggy Marley, Thunderbolt, so we're gonna say, yo.
And welcome back to Fully Baked Radio. I'm your host, Flip Marley. I'm joined by Vanessa Maria, and you're now tuned in to WPPM 106.5 FM Philadelphia. Right now, we have on the phone with us, all the way from Michigan, Mr.C. The reason why I'll call him Mr.C. is because this gentleman would prefer to stay anonymous under the current marijuana prohibition laws and things. Mr.C. would call all the way from Michigan.
He is a black dispensary owner in Detroit, and he has had several run-ins with the police who have been harassing him, and not just him, but anybody who's really trying to enter the cannabis industry in Michigan. And we know all a little bit about that since we've experienced the same here in New Jersey. So we wanted to talk to you to find out what is going on in Michigan. Tell us a little bit about your experience with the dispensaries and what's been happening there.
It's been a it's been a nice roller coaster ride, I guess you can say. Throughout since 2000, I guess I can go back to how I got involved. I got back involved in 2000 and towards the end of 2009, 2010, I ended up by the end of 2010 catching the first case that they put out against me, and that case was in regards to edibles. I was pretty much the first person that was arrested to have to fight to claim that edibles were medical because it wasn't as clear in our language. Well, actually it was clear, but I guess they kind of manipulated to make it unclear. So I was the first one arrested for edibles, and then I had to pretty much go to the Supreme Court to make a case that edibles were also medical along with flour. That was the first case, 2010, and since 2010, it's been a battle. A lot of shops have opened and closed up until today.
Tell us a little bit about the dispensary program. Like here in New Jersey, it's like super limited. There's only like 6 dispensaries, and you have to apply for a license. You have to have all this money in the bank. And it winds up being 6 white guys who control all the dispensaries. Delaware, there's only 1 dispensary. It's the former state police officer. And they only sell flour in very small amounts in grams. Pennsylvania is now starting a medical marijuana dispensary program. You have to have $1 million in the bank. Is like a $200,000 licensing fee. So basically what I'm saying is that this licensing process is so difficult that it excludes mostly people of color, low-income people, people with felony records. What are the laws like in Michigan? Like, what does it take to be able to open a dispensary?
Well, we just got clarification legislation in regards to dispensaries, a.k.a. They're called provision centers here in Michigan, in 2017, in November of 2017. So we passed the medical marijuana law in 2008, but it wasn't until 2017 that we actually had clear language to allow dispensaries, a.k.a. provisionary centers. In between 2008 and 2017, how storefront operations, what we know as dispensaries, operated, we operated under a caregiver to patient. So caregivers can assist patients, and that was how businesses and storefronts opened. Some cities were for that. Some cities were all good with it. And then some cities were just, you know what, we don't want to have anything to do with it. We're going to shut you down, raid you, put you in jail. So a lot of people fought to make it clear that we can have storefront businesses, and it kind of got to the point to where state legislation had to get involved, and they just now came up with some clear rules on how they're going to license provision centers, a.k.a. dispensaries, that they're not going to start accepting applications until the end of this year, of December 2017. But the requirements for that state licensing process is very similar to how you just described it. There's going to be some heavy burdens. They're not saying that they don't want black dispensary owners, but how they set up the rules is pretty much cutting out a lot of minority and black-owned dispensary owners. So it's really going to come down to the city in Michigan. The city is going to either have to opt in or opt out. That's where the kind of rubber meets the road in Michigan. If the city opts in, then the city is going to have to create an ordinance to how they're going to zone these dispensaries, a.k.a. provision centers. And that zoning alone could, be so strict or so lenient to cut people out. Then once it goes from the city, then it also has to go to the state board. So even if you go through the city and you go through the city licensing process, it doesn't mean you're going to pass the state licensing process. Because the state, at the end of the day, there's going to be a board, a medical marijuana facility board that's going to end up approving you based upon your financial records, based upon your history. For example, you can't have a felony within the last 10 years that is convicted for any kind of drug-related offense. Well, that's, a lot of, black people have been arrested, along with Latinos, the most, for drug offenses in Michigan. So that cuts us out a lot right there, just the fact that we can't have a felony within the last 10 years, even if it's a, possession with intent to deliver a gram of marijuana. You cannot be a owner. So things like that is going to make it hard for minorities to pass the state board to actually get a license. Does that make sense?
Yeah, the system is inherently racist. And earlier today, we were playing a lecture by Michelle Alexander, who routinely points out that the people benefiting from this industry are white people, while the people most impacted by mass incarceration via the drug war are Black and Latino people. And those same people can't, advance themselves in these legal markets, and it's unfair. We see that happening all over the place. We talk to people from all over the country, and it's happening everywhere. And so we hope we can change that. What keeps you, continuing to do this work? It seems like a lot of hoops to jump through.
Yeah, I mean, I get that asked a lot because, it's, at the end of the day, there's kind of, there was 4 cases going on against me in regards to this, and most people, I guess, will kind of just walk away. And over $100,000 and hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees, not just for me, but for employees and for workers. Over $100,000 in cars impounded and banks frozen, days in jail. But I guess at the point, it kind of actually pissed me off to where I wasn't going to take this laying down per se, and I was going to fight and fight for people who are minorities and who want to benefit from this business, not just economically, but also benefit from a spiritual standpoint, benefit from a family standpoint. So there's a lot of different things, and I'm trying to prove that we're not here trying to be drug dealers. We're not here trying to be any kind of schemers. We are here to make a effort to actually have a legitimate economic business so that we can provide for our families and our friends in a legitimate way, and we don't have to be caught in this cycle of coming in and going back to jail over and over and over. So it's, it gets kind of, there's a lot of different reasons that keeps me going, but mainly the prosecution, I guess, is kind of like drowning a shark. It just pisses me off even more, and I just want to keep fighting. So that's how it goes.
Hey, I'm curious. Without revealing too much of your identity, can you just let us know a little bit about yourself? You say you just got into the industry 2010. Like, what was your profession before then? Were you a smoker? What was your education like? Can you let us know?
Yeah, actually, I was a college athlete, college football athlete, and I was a high school football star and all that jazz. So at a very early age, I was very strict. I didn't drink. I didn't smoke. I had the brainwashing of, if I was to touch marijuana, it was pretty much the same as heroin. I would just end up, going out, maybe raping people or doing something. I don't know. So I stood away from it. And it wasn't until 2009 when I started to look for a different profession. After college, I became a stockbroker. I had my Series 763, life and health and all that jazz. And after that, it kind of was like, this is not my speed. I did well. I made a lot of money, but it didn't sit right. So I ended up stepping off, starting my own financial firm. And then I ended up starting a credit repair business. So, and those are all doing, very well. I was making 6 figures at a very young age. And then I kind of felt like, well, this is not my speed anymore either. I want to get into a business to where it's kind of more product driven. And, so I started looking into, what kind of product I can have to where I'm not trading time for dollars. Cause a lot of my business models before were more service models to where unless I'm there, I wasn't really making any money or profit. So I wanted to change that up to where, there's a product I create, manufacture, or however it is, and then I can keep making money, I guess, when I'm sleeping per se. And so I started Googling, and I was going to go into sports medicine, sports anti-inflammatory pills. I had some injuries, and I understood other athletes taking anti-inflammatory pain medications, and I started Googling anti-inflammatory remedies, anti-inflammatory pain medications, and at that time in 2009, medical marijuana came up in Google. In 2008, Michigan passed medical marijuana, so it was kind of high up there. So at that point, I knew nothing about marijuana. I just knew that people smoked it, they get high, but I never knew anything about what it did. So I actually took a 6 to 8 week college course here in Michigan, our school had just started. They started having courses, and I registered, and they taught me pretty much everything from the legal aspects, from the history of before it was prohibited to during it was prohibited, and then after what we're trying to do now. And then it went to the legal side of it. It went from seed, it went from clone, it went from indica, sativas, and hybrids. I didn't even know cannabis or marijuana was called cannabis until I took that class. And I remember laughing. I was like, man, cannabis sounds so much more professional. I don't know why we just don't call it cannabis versus marijuana. But at that time, I learned at the end of that class, my mindset from being educated, I just felt like I was duped. I was like, oh my God, I've been, thinking so much about this the wrong way, and it just educated me. I changed my mindset. Then I started to actually grow for my family. My mom was diagnosed bipolar, schizophrenic. My dad had quadruple heart bypass surgery. And so they were taking a lot of different medications, both of them. And I saw some of the benefits of certain strands that can help weed them off medication. And that's when I started getting into it. And then other people started asking about it. And then I ended up starting a delivery service. And I was just doing a service that was based upon good product, a good reasonable price, friendly service, and being very professional. And it just blew up from there. I had to hire other drivers. Sooner or later, I had to take appointments inside of an office. And then sooner or later, I had a storefront. So, and then here I am now.
What are some of the more fun parts about your job? Because, sometimes we have people come in here talking about the doom and gloom of prohibition, but there's a flip side to that, and all the people that you help and all the miracles you see, especially with people and their health. What are some of the things you've experienced since starting to help people provide them with this wonderful plant?
You feel like I think our team and our group of people that we work with, we all feel like we're being a part of something that's bigger than ourselves. We feel like we actually have a purpose in what we're doing. Is actually helping people. I mean, we've had people come in with cerebral palsy. We have people who come in who came off of chemotherapy from taking stem cell oil from our place, and to see the before and afters. It's kind of like if you go to the gym and you're going in, you take this before and you're so overweight, and then in 90 days you take this after, and it's just like, man, you're cut. And it's like there's people who come in such array or bad conditions and from these pills, and you can see them in their eyes, and they're drugged and they're zoned out, they're kind of like zombies. And then in a matter of months, people are coming in and there's so much more life in them, so much more joy. And we're laughing and we're kicking it, and it's just you build these relationships. And those relationships, I mean, no matter how many cars they take, no matter how much money you try to take or how much they try to prosecute you, those values and those relationships, they can never take those away from you. So at the end of the day, that is worth more than gold, worth more than money. These relationships just mean so much.
Word.
We see a lot of that here too. All the incredible people we've met through the New Jersey Weed Man's Joint and the Liberty Bell Temple, and it's just we've seen people get healed, and it's worth fighting for. And I feel like that's why we all do the work that we do.
Yeah, and I heard from a doctor say a quote to where if we were to just stumble across this plant today, I mean, it will be one of the greatest dietary supplements discovered, period. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, I mean, it's so true. I mean, it is the greatest dietary supplement that we can take, known to us.
Yeah, so many.
And to me, that's what we're trying to prove now. And it's to show that we're not going to be manipulated. We're not going to be persuaded or influenced to be biased to prosecute or to oppress people, but we need to be free. And not even just people, we need free just like marijuana needs to be free, people need to be free. And I guess this is the way we're trying to express how we all want to be free.
Definitely. Amen. There's over 200 dispensaries in Michigan. Only 20 of them are are black. We hear about all the exclusions and the ordinances in the city of Detroit where majority of the residents are African American. Can you just give us your thoughts and like what's going on in Detroit as far as the cannabis scene go?
It is an industry that a lot of people see a lot of money. When this industry becomes legal in Michigan, and most likely will be in 2018, there's going to be a shift in economic growth, and people are trying to preserve, well, I have this money from doing these forfeitures, or I have this money from doing these pharmaceuticals, or I have this money from doing this, and they see that there's a possibility of a change to where people who are in lower incomes now could have a possible opportunity to come out of a low income to a middle income or even to a higher income. And you can see the resistance of people who are in that middle or higher income saying, kind of like kicking you back, like kind of, well, no, we don't want you to come up here. You stay down there. That's kind of what we're fighting. I mean, we complain a lot about how we need opportunities to kind of get out of the rut that we have been put into. And now we have one, and now they're trying to not find ways to let us take advantage of that opportunity. And, we're not taking it laying down. We are fighting for it. We are expressing ourselves like we're doing like you guys are doing wonderfully on the show about how, there is a lot of red tape that is trying to dictate who can take advantage of this or not. It should be a free market. It should be allowing everyone to be able to participate in a fair and equal way. But I think we keep bringing this out there. We keep talking about it. And then us as people come out when it comes time to vote, to come out and actually vote and actually care and actually voice our opinions that way, because we can start a revolution by our vote. We don't have to go out and riot and fight people. We can need to step up and show up and vote because we put these people in office by not voting. Mm-hmm. So when we realize when we don't vote, you are still voting because you're helping them accomplish their agenda. So we have to be able to go out there when it comes time to vote, stop talking about it, go out there, see who is actually going to help us as a group and as people, and let's support them.
And we got to get more cool people that support marijuana legalization to run for office as well. In Philly, we just had a DA candidate win who wants to legalize marijuana. And so that to us is another measure of progress. So we want to thank you for telling your story and for being so brave in fighting prohibition and helping people in Michigan, because, there's a lot of good people like yourself fighting the good fight. And we appreciate you for sure.
Thank you. And I think it's an opportunity to speak about it, I guess, get the story out there. And I appreciate what you guys are doing as well. Thank you.
Yeah, we're going to keep telling those stories here on Fully Baked Radio.
And ladies and gentlemen, that was Mr.C from Michigan. And his story just sounds so too familiar. Even with our partner, the NJ Weedman, who's currently incarcerated for having an establishment that provides opportunity and awareness to a plant that's going to be legalized and profited soon, So this happening all across the country, and it was a pleasure having Mr. C on to
tell his story,
share his story with us, But
and we definitely are in solidarity with him and others like him who are fighting the good fight, trying to make it legal and free, as he talked about. Freedom for all of us.
The 420 POWs. But at this time, we're going to head to break. So stay tuned. Listen to some music. You're listening to WPPM 106.5 FM Philadelphia. This is Fully Baked Radio.
Funk Master Flex Night. Funk Master Flex. Funk Master Flex. Funk Master Flex.
That you get high, but I ain't smoking with the rest, no. Cause if it's in my drink, believe that it's the best smoke. I'm talking OG, push
Funk
from the
Master
West
Flex
Coast.
Night.
Watch how you hit it, just one hit up on your chest, though.
Cut those cameras on, cause my camel's on and my niggas backing me. Ride around town with a big old bag of weed. Taylor gang, we ain't in your faculty. Me and Snoop Dogg done created a masterpiece. Smoke all day and I'm making this cash, and we bout it like Master P. Go hard, stack your cheese, roll a joint, pass the trees. TGOD, he's the OG, real G, what it has to be. My real nigga gon' pop tags for me. Fake gon' get bags from me. Say you just wanna shake hands with me. Same nigga used to laugh at me. Now I'm riding around town in the car that you can't even pronounce and you can't go fast as me. Smoking things, she know that I'm a player, so she wanna come up here and spend his cash with me. That pimp come naturally. That is whack to me. My kush grown organically. My ballin' is actually.
Let you get high, but I ain't smoking with the rest, no. Cause if it's in my drink, believe that it's the best smoke. I'm talking OG kush from the West Coast. Watch how you hit it, just one hit'll burn your chest out. For sure, you might can smoke, but you ain't smoking what we smoking now. You might can smoke, but you ain't smoking what we smoking now. Hey, you might can smoke, but you ain't smoking what we smoking now. You might can smoke, but you ain't smoking what we smoking now.
Let me turn you on to turn you out to make you feel like you really wanna feel. For real, show will. I got that kill. You know what I got. Captain Crunch, soda pie, like green kush cut from a bush. Mix it together, get it together. Hyper glow with the hydro flow. Smoking on some shit called I don't know. This is the shit that was taught for my niggas on the block with the 4-4 block. Oh no, cutting it up, butting it up. Homie, don't speak at all. You might skate, you might be most likely like shark bait. I might hate you smoking that lightweight, wrong class, featherweight, levitate, set it straight. Let me break it down for you. Flip it, zip it, let it fly. If it's good, it's gonna get you high. Drop it, stop it, that ain't the one. We don't even smoke that for fun.
Let you get high, but I ain't smoking with the rest though. Cause if it's in my drink, believe that it's the best smoke. I'm talking OG kush from the West Coast. Watch how you hit it, just one hit'll burn your chest out. For sure, you might can smoke, but you ain't smoking what we smoking on. You might can smoke, but you ain't smoking what we smoking on. Hey, you might can smoke, but you ain't smoking what we smoking on. You might can smoke, but you ain't smoking what we smoking on. Hey,
Yeah, I'm rolling up that high grade. Chillin' on the post, smoking like it's Friday. Every day the week, the Juicy J's a high day. Think I'm Chinese, cut my eyes straight. I pull up a 6 into a 20 ounce. Smoked a half ounce of kush, felt like 20 ounces. The round that popped up Molly, now I'm high. Every chick I'm seeing, Juicy screaming out, let's. I done popped a pill and hit the lean behind it. Where my mind, somebody help me find it. Got a black and white beat, they my mix beat. They keep my double cup full, OG in my swisher.
get high, but I ain't smoking with the rest though. Cause if it's in my drink, believe that it's the best smoke. I'm talking OG kush from the West Coast. Watch how you hit it, just one hit'll burn your chest out. For sure, you might can smoke, but you ain't smoking what we smoking on. You might can smoke, but you ain't smoking what we smoking on. Hey, you might can smoke, but you ain't smoking what we smoking on. You might can smoke,
Funk Master Flex Night. Funk Master Flex.
And hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Fully Baked Radio on WPPM 106.5 FM Philadelphia. And right now is the time of the show where, well, I just do what I do best, and that's get people high, y'all. Someone hand me my lighter, please. So, on this episode of The Hot Box, now, first one up into today's Hot Box will be Malcolm McAllister. Who's Malcolm McAllister? Malcolm McAllister is a Greyhound dog trainer down in Tampa, Florida, who recently had his license revoked, all because he decided to train his dogs on cocaine. Alright, Malcolm, the reason you're getting into the hot box today, well, it's obvious. Cocaine's bad for you, man. But now that you have your license revoked, let me give you a tip. Feed your dog some weed biscuits. They'll love you way much more. So come on into the hot box, Malcolm. We got several other people behind you waiting to get in here and get some of these good old weed. Next, coming into the hot box, a lot of you guys may know him. He's the host of InfoWars, good friend to President Donald Trump. He is Alex Jones, guys. Now, Alex Jones has been fighting a custody battle with his wife recently. And some court records were just released. And surprise, surprise, everybody, Alex Jones smokes pot. But he only smokes weed once a year. And that's to test the strength of it. Because you just can't trust George Soros, he says. And his billions of dollars making weed so potent, he needs to stay on top of this information and give it back to his listeners. So that is the only reason why Alex Jones smokes pot until today. Because he's joining us in the hot box. Come on in, Alex. And last but not least, he is the country's least favorite governor. And unfortunately, he's the governor of my home state, New Jersey. It is no other than Governor Chris Christie. And Chris Christie's battle with medical marijuana and legalization has been on the record for years. This is no surprise to anyone. But he's slowly getting removed out of his seat as governor and making his way into the White House. But before he did so, he had to go out with proper Christie fashion, blasting the legalization that is expected to come to New Jersey in 2018, calling the people of the state that wants this legalization to happen stupid. I don't like dropping the S word, Chris Christie, but you sound completely stupid just even bringing this up in 2017. So for that, come on in the hot box. Come and join Malcolm McAllister, Alex Jones, and myself, Flip Marley. This has been another episode of Fully Baked Radio's Hot Box.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time of the show where we have to say goodbye. And before we do that, I would just like to say a special thank you to all our guests that were on the show today, to all our listeners, and make sure you check out fullybakedradio.com for more interviews, and definitely check out our social media content as well on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Fully Baked Radio. All right, everyone, that'll do it for this episode of Fully Baked Radio. Make sure you guys stay tuned, stay baked, and catch us next week for another episode of Fully Baked Radio.
All right, peace.
Peace.